All right, welcome to Team Empowered Minds' first call of 2017. It is January 4th, and welcome to all of you. So we have a couple things that we want to cover, and hopefully Christy gets on pretty soon because mine isn't going to take super long. If not, we'll have a very short team call tonight. So yesterday I made a video, and I've really been trying to find my niche. You know, we always hear we should find our niche. Why would people come to us as a coach? There's thousands of other coaches. Why is somebody going to choose Sierra as a coach? Why is somebody going to choose Tammy? Why is somebody going to choose Carrie? Why is somebody going to choose me? And we have to stand out, so to speak, amongst all these other thousands of coaches, right? So I've been really trying to figure this out because I feel like I'm not standing out. I'm just a number. I'm just a mom. I'm just, you know, like everybody else. And over the past like 10 to 15 days, I've just had a lot of experiences that kept building up to where I finally was like, I have to share all of this and just kind of get it out. And so that's what my live video was yesterday, which is way chaotic. So you guys are going to get it condensed. Rather than having to watch 20 minutes, you can get it in like 7. But, and it was super chaotic because my kids went to swim. So I was like, okay, the house is quiet, right? Both Cassie and Corbin are in swim right now. So I have time, I have an hour and a half to do this call. And 30 minutes in, I start getting phone calls from them. And I'm like, what is going on? And 3 of them back to back. And finally, I'm like, okay, guys, I got to get off this call because I got to call my kids back. I don't know what's going on. And they're like, there's not very many kids wanting to swim tonight, so they're going to end early if you can come pick us up. And I'm like, seriously? So I taught my kids, if it's not an emergency, you don't interrupt mommy. But anyway, so it was also chaotic because I was so distracted by these phone calls coming in and stuff. But anyway, the gist of what has been mulling around in my mind, and I've made a few posts about it, so it won't be anything super new to you guys, but I feel like maybe the way I'm going to share might be new. So let's see if I can get through it all. Is that what's happening, and I know that this has been happening with people on our team, me included, that we get onto our social media and we make posts or we see posts or whatever, and then what do? We compare ourselves to others, right? We say, well, I made a post, it was a great post, I spent 20 minutes making it, and 3 people liked it. What the heck? Susie over here made a post that took her like no time. She snapped a picture of her kid, and 82 people liked it in 30 minutes. Right? We do this, don't we? Mm-hmm. And then what happens? We get frustrated and we get grumpy and we're like, it doesn't work. The system doesn't work. And then we get mad at ourselves and we say there's something wrong with us. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with us. And the video, if you happen to go watch the video, it's a totally different take as what I'm doing, because right now I'm gearing it towards us as a business. Yesterday it was not geared that way. But anyway, and so we get frustrated, we put ourselves down, and that does not give us the motivation to keep building a team or building our own business or going out and sharing or reaching out when we feel frustrated about ourselves. So not only about our posts not getting enough, you know, looks or whatever, but also the fact that we take, so for instance, I have 1,000 people on my Facebook. Out of those 1,000, I probably see about 300 of their messages a day between the times that I'm on and off Facebook. And out of those 300, I'm going to say, and I haven't done numbers, this is totally just an estimate, I'm going to guess that about 200 of those are positive, life is great, hey, I cleaned my house, hey, me and my hubby are out to dinner, look at how cute my kids are, uplifting, positive type posts about perfect lives, so to speak. Not that they're perfect, I'll get more into that. But anyway, that's what it appears as, right? So we're comparing our bad day, our one day that didn't go great, or our one post that didn't get much traction, to 200 posts, and lumping them in our mind into one. So we're comparing, saying, oh my gosh, look at them as being one compared to us. Okay, so that's terrible for anybody to do, especially for a business, but let alone just for our own self-esteem when we're comparing ourselves to those, you know, all these other people. Carrie got her dishes done, and Sierra took her boys out and played with them, and here I am working on my computer, and my kids are fending for themselves. You know, like, we just start criticizing ourselves because Satan is really good at using that tool. And I am noticing that a lot, not just in the Beachbody world, but in social media. So this year, kind of, I think what made me jump for sharing this is just so far this year, I've seen 3 people that have commented and said, okay, I'm getting off social media this year, I'm closing my Facebook. And their reasoning was it's too negative, it's affecting them in a bad way, they're comparing themselves to others and things like that. And so at first I was like, man, I wish I could be that person. Like, sometimes I wish I hadn't, I mean, I love my job, don't think I don't, but I wish I hadn't chosen a career that keeps me on social media, because it would be really nice to just block all of that out. So that was the first thought that kind of came to mind. And then quickly, right after I thought that, the next few thoughts that came to mind were, Sharon, God has empowered you with information and with knowledge that you can go out and share with others. And that is your calling. Your calling is to bless other women's lives. And you can do it on social media. Just a second, Weston's freaking out. Come here. What do you need? Because you're tired and it's night. No. Do you want to just lay down right here? Go get a pillow and lay down right here. I still have like 15 minutes. Well, then play up here away from Papa. He's grumpy because he's tired. Anyway, let's see if I can remember right where I was at. You guys, my memory is terrible. Oh, all right. Okay, so about me being called to do this. Okay, so my next thought was that I literally feel like this is something that I can do to better the world, is use social media for a good reason and a good cause. And so I don't know how many times you guys go scroll through your friends' Facebook pages, but at least 50% of the time that I do, everybody that posts out of those, you know, so say I do 150 of them are going to just be shares. They don't post anything of their own. They're not sharing anything uplifting from their lives. They're not sharing positive experiences. It's just shares after shares after shares after shares. And not that that's a bad thing. There's nothing really wrong with that. It's just, I feel like the whole point of social media these days is just getting so bombarded with stuff in your face. And it's not necessarily a positive thing. That I was like, yeah, I feel like with Beachbody, we can put positive in front of people. We can uplift them when they're feeling down. So maybe if they're scrolling Facebook and they see a powerful, positive, uplifting message, they're going to be like, whoa, I needed that today. Like, all this other stuff is just being, you know, in our face constantly. And then they come across maybe a spiritual message, you know, about God or something, and they're feeling down. So anyway, that was the number one thing that just really hit me, that I was like, I have a following already, and I have this vehicle of Beachbody that I can be in front of a lot of people, and I can bless people's lives. So why would I not want to be on social media? So don't get off social media just because it's negative. We can make it better, right? The answer isn't to go hide from it, because that's just not the answer. I could go on about that for a long time too. But okay, so that was the first part, that I just kind of had this aha of, that's what I need to do. I need to quit being so focused on whether or not I sell something, and I need to focus on whose life can I uplift today just through them scrolling. So I've tried to, you know, come up, because I'm trying to schedule out posts on Postcron to schedule and stuff, and so I'm trying to come up with at least one positive, just positive, uplifting post for moms. Women, but mostly moms, since that's on the stage I'm in, every day, that will catch their attention and get them, you know, feeling happy and uplifted. Because when we associate, so say Tammy, if your friends, when they come across your page, every time they see your stuff, it makes them happy and positive. When they need something, they're going to say, I want her in my life because she's positive and uplifting. If they're seeing you post things, like I was telling my kids today, there's this one friend of mine that she only posts when her life is bad. So no post, nothing for like 3 weeks. And then it's like, yay, me and the kids are throwing up. I hate life, or, you know, things like that. And I'm like, whoa, dude, like, I mean, I get we get sick, but really, like, so if you, and I'm not saying don't be real, because obviously I think some of you saw my post about the piano that I got accused of not being real. But anyway, be real, but do it from a positive point of view. So if your kids are sick, that's totally fine. Like, I love how Sierra does it. She'll post and say her kid's sick, but guess what? Mommy gets extra snuggle time. So instead of being like, great, my kids are all sick, life is awful, she makes it a positive thing. And I think that's really important to do, because again, we as women have so much already on us that we feel so weighed down. We're trying to be perfect, and it's almost impossible to do. So my message to you is to make that a priority this year, is to focus on building other women up. And yes, of course, we're gonna have our, yes, Carrie, I hate that. Anyway, I hate when they use that word at all on Facebook. I get it when it just comes out sometimes, because, you know, if you're using that word in your vocabulary, which I choose not to, then I get that sometimes it's just gonna come out, but you have to think it to type it, so. Anyway, I think that let's focus on trying to, you know, my team is Empowered Minds. I want to empower women to know how to get themselves out of that depression and out of that anxiety. So the second part is that I talked more to these other women about, so you kind of understand where I'm coming from, is what happens is these women get, you know, they get frustrated, they feel like they're not good enough. So what do? They go turn on Netflix and they binge watch a show for 4 or 5 hours. And what's wrong with that show? Well, most of the time the shows make life seem perfect, right? The sex life is great, your kids are behaved, or you have a nanny, or you're wealthy, or your house is always clean, or all of these other things. And what does that do? That just adds on to you saying, wow, I completely suck. And it brings you down even more, and it makes you feel even more depressed, because your makeup doesn't look like hers, and you're not as skinny as her, and you don't have a perfect body like she does, and you don't have the car that they drive, and it just brings you down more and more and more. So this is what's happening, I feel like, with social media, is all of these women that we're trying to reach, when we're coming across to them trying to say, hey, do you want to lose weight? When they're already feeling like that, is not reaching them. Because they're going, yeah, I want to lose weight, but I can't lose weight because I suck. And they don't know how to get over that. And so I feel like if we can reach them by literally just letting them know, we're here when you're ready. Here's what we do. We love you. We care about you. Here's how it's blessed my life. And positive, uplifting things, tips, ideas. Maybe, you know, like I've been trying to share a scripture a week, at least one scripture a week that is, you know, not super long, but is going to help people to feel God's love for them. Because you guys know I'm super into that. And I feel like too many people push God completely out of their lives. And when you don't feel his love, you feel so alone when you get to that sad and depressed state. Because you don't even feel like you have a higher being that you can turn to that understands you. So I feel like when we can share those things and we can let people know we do care about you and we do love you, and we're not here to simply say, hey, buy a challenge pack. We're here to let them know that because of that challenge pack, I'm doing, you know, and just to say, and I know you guys, I'm not great at this, so don't say, well, you do that. To just say, yes, it's changed my life is not good enough. Why has it changed your life? How has it changed your life? Show that it's changed your life. Show that you feel better, you know. For instance, the kids and I have not been sick this whole semester. Normally, it's like twice a year that we get, 2 times in a semester that we get sick. No sick. Lane got sick. Lane got a cold. None of us did. Lane does not eat the way we eat. He's an adult, so he can choose to eat the way he wants. But I really, truly believe it is because of the way we're eating and we're fueling our body, so that when we do get sick, it's strong enough to be able to fight off the germs, because it's not trying to metabolize this food that it doesn't even know what it is, and it's full of, you know, extra stuff that it shouldn't have in it. So anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys. Is I feel like that's part of the reason we're not reaching into the market the way we could be, is because people, I mean, look at your own Facebook pages, you know, it's Younique 1,000,000 times, it's LuLaRoe 2,000,000 times. And I'm not dogging these companies. I love them. I really do. I think they're great. I buy stuff from them, but I'm just saying, it's like constantly sell, 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 sell. Join my party, join my group, you know, buy this stuff. And so when people are like, oh my gosh, one more person trying to sell me something. Yeah, I'm trying to look at it from their point of view. So I really stepped back this week and said, how would I want to be invited? How would I want somebody to approach me? What post would jump out to me? And I felt like when I see somebody that truly loves and cares about me, that's the thing that I'm like, whoa, they took the time to message me about my one post that nobody even commented on. That's cool. I like that person, you know, and you kind of put that in the back of your mind. So be more present as far as positive, uplifting. I think you guys do a good job. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying at least one a day that you really put effort into thinking, how can I help these women feel better about themselves, more loved, and have a desire to want to change. Because when you're in that depressed, anxious state, which I've been in, you don't want to do anything. You just kind of want to muddle through life and feel sorry for yourself. So when somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, I'm doing this awesome group, I'm so excited, and they're all happy and upbeat about it, and you're sitting there going, I'm eating potato chips and watching my 4th episode of Gilmore Girls, you're not going to say yes. You're either going to ignore it or you're going to say no thanks, or not now, because you don't want to face the fact that you need to get up off the couch, quit eating those potato chips, and work out. Does that make sense? I'm like, uh-oh, my phone's freaking out at me. Okay, so do you guys have questions about that? No questions? It all makes sense? You guys are so not interactive tonight. You must be tired. I'm sure Carrie feels like me and just wants to hibernate, because it's like all that snow outside. You're just like, can somebody stockpile my house and I'm just going to sit on the couch and sleep? Anyway, I did my workout because I shoveled. I was going to do a workout, and then I shoveled for 2 hours, so I did not work out.
Just to add on,
I will do yoga tonight. So.
Just to add on to what you were saying, I think right before the end of 2016, I got this like this feeling that I'm like, okay, for January, I'm going to start encouraging women. So I pretty much took 30 days and like 30 types of ways to encourage women, and just put them on like a quote program, and just something real quick, real simple, and then just talk about it.
That's awesome. Good job. Yeah, that's good. I know. It's been crazy, because what was so weird is there's this article that's been going around, and I believe it was written by an LDS person. So you guys probably aren't in the same social circles I am to see it, but you may have seen it because it's been spreading a lot. And it's something to the effect of, here, I'll just go to my brother's page real quick and see what it's called. So I get it right and I don't butcher it. Lifestyle porn capital of the world. And it's about Utah, and how everybody on Facebook, all these Mormon mommies, are making their lives out to look perfect, and yet they're not really perfect, and they're comparing themselves to everybody else. And because of that, it's causing marital problems, because they're getting depressed and anxious and telling their husband that they're not good enough. He's not having a good enough job because they can't afford all these things, and all these awful things. And I am Mormon, so I get to dog them for a little bit here. But I do feel like that is super the case for my friends that live there. And sadly, it is the #1 divorce state in the United States as well. And I do feel like this is a huge issue, not just amongst Mormon moms, because I have a ton of other friends that are not LDS, and they are very much also telling me things like this, that they feel super down, they're depressed, life isn't great, you know, the economy's low, whatever the case. And I've had multiple friends go through divorce this year. And I just feel like we as women, like the majority of us right now, are just kind of feeling hit hard. Mm-hmm. We're expected to do so much. And if we don't do that, we get chastised. But if we do it, we don't get praised. And that's really hard to keep that momentum up at that high level all the time without eventually crashing. And so I feel like that's kind of what's happening, is coming right out of Christmas, all these moms that feel like they couldn't give their kids everything they wanted. And then we're sitting there approaching them saying, hey, do you want to join this health bet? And they're going, I don't have a dime because I couldn't even afford to give my kids Christmas, and I tried. And then you're telling me to spend money on me. I can't do that. And I get it. I was one of those moms at one point where I felt like that too. And so I just kind of, have been like thinking on these things. And then I get, my friend had posted that and said, this drives me nuts because here's real life. And she posted a picture of her on the couch with a cold and snuggled up in her hoodie that she was too exhausted to even take off after she'd taken her daughter to preschool. And I was like, yes, that's kind of true. Like social media does tend to make life seem more romantic than it is. Well, within an hour, my brother sent me the same article and said, hey, I came across this and I think you would really like this, and it could be something that you share with the women that you talk to and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. 2 times in a couple hours, I need to sit down and read this article and find out why. And then once I started reading that, it just kind of all came together that as much as, we want to get that money because all of us need the money, we also need to realize these people need to feel loved. And when they feel loved and they feel like we're going to support them and that our lives are real, then we will stand out from all these other people, and they are going to come to us and they are going to trust us. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for tonight. Anybody else have 2 cents? Because I could use it. Just kidding. Nothing. We only have 6 minutes, so we can just wear out the clock, or I can just end. You can chat, you can share. How was your Christmas? How's your business going?
I think we're all tired, like you said.
I get it. I totally want to change the time of this, but I'm like, I don't know when would be good, because since you work, Sierra, I'm like, you would be at work. So I don't know what unless we change it to Saturday, which Saturdays are usually always packed with everything else,
Right.
So I thought about Sunday, but I really, because I try not to work on Sunday at all, I'm like, that's kind of walking that fine line for me.
I usually am home by 6:30 though.
Okay.
If you want to move it up that far.
Okay, that's good. I might want to move it up to 8 because I just feel like by 7:30 I am done. But even
I am.
now that we're back in school, except we're not in school for today and tomorrow, but when we're normally back in school, my kids have to be in bed by 8 anyway, and that way we're done, by 8:45ish, and we're not all sitting there dragging. And I'm sure Tammy's going, yes!
Yes, please.
So anyway, I will talk to Christy about that and figure out if we can do that, because I feel like it's just getting too late and I'm too tired and you guys are all tired. And anyway, so I think that's kind of where we're at. I was also going to talk about, in the couple minutes we have left, the team retreat that Perdita is offering for anybody that reaches out later. I know that we all feel like we're really, really far from it, including me right now. But we do have through the end of the month, and January is normally I think it's our second highest month. I believe August is the highest month. Not August, July. So we do have a lot of potential. We just need to reach out to those people and let them feel loved. So I've been really trying to just send quick little messages, nothing big, nothing fancy, but just let people know that I care about them. So if somebody comes across my newsfeed and it's something that like I feel like I can comment on, instead of just commenting on their thing, I'll send them a message and say, hey, I saw your post about your kid and their new puppy. That's so awesome. I know you guys have been wanting a dog. I'm so glad you guys got a dog, you know, so that they feel like I personally care about them. And then, you know, maybe in a few weeks when I'm ready to do my free group, guess what? It's not going to be awkward when I say, hey, I have this awesome free group that I'm going to be doing, and I would love to invite you to it. So keep doing that, because even if you feel like you can't invite and you don't feel like you can build this business, you can always connect. That is not hard to do. And then when you do have that little, you know, fire lit under you and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. If you haven't been connecting with people and you've been kind of off social media for the last 3 months, guess what? You have to build all of that back up before you can start connecting and reaching out to people. So anyway, keep doing your connects and do them to where people can tell you're involved with them, like, you know, checking out their page, or even if it was like 3 days before, be like, hey, I saw that, you know, you had this awesome Christmas, whatever, you went on a trip or whatnot, and interact that way. So anyway, I'm good. I think I'm good, unless you guys have any other last minute questions or concerns. All right. Thank you guys so much for hopping on.